Hello, Conrad and Lucy and Caleb. Are you ready to hear the rest of the master plan of Doctor Doom? Remember, the master plan included Doctor Doom's recruitment of the Terrible Trio, three men whose special powers were enhanced by Doctor Doom's scientific wizardry. We have Yogi Decor, who can withstand flame. We've already seen how he managed to subdue the Human Torch. There's also Bull Brogan, who's not nearly as strong as the Thing, but he's strong enough to fulfill Doom's plan for the Thing. We're going to see him next. And then there's Handsome Harry Phillips. And we know the handsome guy is going to go after the pretty Sue Storm. Okay, so those are the three recruits, but Doctor Doom left Mr. Fantastic for himself. Well, we're ready to jump right into our story, and we'll be watching the Thing as he steps into Doctor Doom's plan next. Okay, the thing is storming through the streets in a fit of rage. He is so angry that he hasn't even bothered to don his usually hat, coat, and sunglasses, and so he's just out in the street in his regular attire, his blue swimsuit. All right, he says, "This is the last straw. I'll take Yancey Street apart brick by brick till I find those rat finks." Looks like that poor little kid has his hand caught in that window grating. So the Thing's going to check that out. He says, "Have no fear, kiddo. The Thing is here. Don't bother to thank me. I'm in a big hurry." And so he just rips off the whole wall. And the kid says, "Thank you? Why would I say thank you? I wish I was big enough to whap you one. If anyone on this street sees that I let you help me, my name is Mud around here." The Thing says, "Just my luck. You're too big to spank and too small to clobber." So the kid kicks the Thing. Whatever. All right. So just to show us he's on Yancey Street, here's the street sign. The Thing says, "All right, you low-down, letter-writing, lily-livered cowards. This is your pen pal, the Thing, talking. I'm giving the Yancey Street gang 10 seconds to show their ugly faces before I really get mad." Well, look at this. This big fist punches the manhole cover that the Thing was standing on and knocks him over. And the voice says, "I knew that letter would bring you here. I've been waiting to welcome you." Who do you think that is? It's Bull Brogan. And so he comes out of the manhole cover, and the Thing says, "Yippee, this is my lucky day. You're big enough not to fall apart when I land a haymaker on you. Just stay there for a minute. I want to remember you as you are. I always figured you creeps lived under the gutter somewhere. Here, I'll toss you up so you can see what fresh air is like before I demolish you." And he throws Bull up in the air. He says, "Enjoy it while you can, frog face. You'll soon get yours." "Thanks for the ride, Nature Boy. Now don't go away." And he grabs the fire escape, and he's so strong he pulls it down. And the Thing says, "I wouldn't think of going away." And Bull says, "You shoulda thought of it. You didn't think I was strong enough to do this, did you?" So he wraps the Thing up in that steel scaffolding. And the Thing says, "Mercy me, I'm overwhelmed. Now stand back, strong man, so I can tremble in peace." And the Thing just shrugs his shoulders and casts off that steel wrapped around him. He says, "Okay, Big Mouth, the fun's over. Better call the rest of the gang. You're gonna need 'em." Bull says, "You bird brain, I'm not a member of the Yancey Street gang. My gang is far more dangerous. And look, he pulls out this gun. He says, and now one blast from this cosmic beam gun should end this fight here and now. So look, that gun is projecting a cosmic beam just like the one that turned Ben Grimm into the Thing. What effect will this beam have on the Thing? Look, the cosmic beam gun. I became the Thing when cosmic rays hit me. That beam will turn me back to Ben Grimm. But who could have invented it? Except, we know who could have invented it, huh? Only someone as clever as Dr. Doom. Well, now Ben Grimm is no match for Bull Brogan because he's had his strength enhanced. Bull says the effects of that beam will only last for a few minutes, but that'll be long enough for me to polish you off. After getting the XZ12 treatment, I'm strong enough to handle a dozen Ben Grimms. See what I mean? And he punches him out. And Ben falls to the ground. And from a hidden vantage point, Dr. Doom follows the sequence of events with sinister satisfaction. He says, "Well done, Brogan. Now as soon as Harry Phillips attends to the Invisible Girl, I personally shall hand Mr. Fantastic his most crushing defeat." And what of Sue Storm and Reed Richards? Let us return to the Fantastic Four headquarters, where Mr. Fantastic silently approaches the unsuspecting girl as she practices her invisible force control. Okay, so he's kind of slipping in through the door, slipping up behind her. She's trying to use her force field to pick up a book. So she's learning how to use that invisible force field in many different ways. But then he wraps around her. She says, "Oh, Reed, what are you doing?" "Just testing your reflexes, Sue. Pretend I'm an enemy who has stolen up on you from behind. How would you cope with me? Quickly now." And she says, "This isn't fair, Reed. No enemy could be as formidable as you. You're just showing off." Reed says, "You're wrong, dear. Have you forgotten Dr. Doom? He's capable of anything. You must be always on guard." Poor Sue, she was probably expecting Mr. Fantastic to wrap his arms around her in a hug instead of his attacking her like that. Not very romantic at all. And so Sue says, "Very well then, if I must prove my ability all the time, I'll loosen your hold with a sudden invisible force blast like this. And I'll thank you not to call me dear, Mr. Richards. I'm still angry with you." And so look, her formidable invisible force power can free her from Mr. Fantastic's grasp. He says, "Just like a woman, everything I do is for your own good, but you're too scatterbrained and emotional to realize it. Well, all right, I can play it your way too, Miss Storm." She says, "Oh, go polish a test tube or something." And so they're having a lover's quarrel. And she then sits down on her big ottoman and pouts. "That man, I know he's right, and that's why I'm angry. If only he understood females better." Well, good luck with that. Later, after Sue has returned home, there's a knock on her door from a man who does understand females better. Unfortunately for Sue, he thinks this should be a cinch for handsome Harry Phillips. So Sue opens the door, and there's a handsome man, and he's got flowers. He says, "Miss Storm, you don't know me, but I've been an admirer of yours for a long time." She says, "Flowers? For me? How sweet of you, but I really can't accept them." She thinks, how handsome he is. Wouldn't Reed be jealous? He says, I'm afraid it's too late to refuse them now. In fact, inasmuch as you've already smelled them, it's too late for anything. She gets suspicious. What? What are you talking about? I don't understand. He says, I'll be happy to explain, beautiful. Those flowers contained a special secret ingredient. One whiff, and you go to Sleepy by land. Sue says, Lucky Reed warned me to be on guard. I held my breath while holding the flowers, just in case. And so she didn't really smell that ingredient that would put her to sleep. And so she turns invisible. And he says, I see you're not as easy to trick as I had expected. Well, no matter, gorgeous, you can't escape this ether gun. So he has a gun with a gas that will put her to sleep. But she turns invisible and she says, I must stay out of his way until I learn what this is all about. But as she moves, she knocks over that table. And he says, being invisible won't help you. I can hear your heartbeat no matter where you are. Remember that Dr. Doom's XZ12 ray gave him super hearing, so he can hear Invisible Girl wherever she is. She realizes he means it. Wherever I run, he turns in that direction. I haven't time to stop and concentrate my invisible force field. He says, nice try, baby, but this wraps it up. That special ether mist will cling to your nostrils until you stop holding your breath. She says, I can't fight it any longer. I can feel the ether taking effect. Oh, Reed, Reed, where are you? And she passes out and resumes visibility. So Harry carries her out the door and into Dr. Doom's clutches. Reed Richards will be shortly fighting for his own life against the deadly master plan of Dr. Doom. Speaking of Dr. Doom, there he is, laughing. Ha! Now that the lowly pawns are out of the way, I shall match wits and strength once again with the only foe who is truly my equal. And after I have bested him, the world will be mine. And so the final phase of Dr. Doom's master plan begins, with a dramatic flare signal illuminating the twilight sky. It looks like the arm of the Thing shooting off a flare gun with the symbol of the Fantastic Four up in the sky. Mr. Fantastic sees it and stretches to meet the Thing. He says, it's the Thing. Something must be wrong, and it must be critical for him to use the flare signal. And as he arrives, he says, what is it, Ben? Speak up, man. The Thing says, down here, Reed. Hurry. And look, when Reed arrives, we see the Thing and the Dr. Doom springing a trap. Mr. Fantastic says, stop, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind, Ben? He realizes, I'm being forced between two plexiglass containers. But why, Ben? Why? Dr. Doom says, I knew the sight of your lumbering partner would make you lose your natural caution, Reed Richards. He says, Dr. Doom, I might have guessed, but how did you get the Thing to become your accomplice? And Dr. Doom says, save your breath, Richards. Once this escape-proof container is sealed, your voice comes out as an unintelligible murmur. And so we can't hear what Reed Richards is saying. But look, it wasn't really the Thing. It's one of Dr. Doom's cleverly constructed robots. And Dr. Doom says, however, you don't need to hear me to understand what I'm now showing you. Too bad you forgot in your eagerness to help the Thing that I'm a master robot designer, and that one oversight will cost you your very life. Not long afterwards, a heavily shrouded truck rumbles into a large private warehouse on a dreary New York side street. Dr. Doom says, "You won't be lonely, Richards. There are friends waiting for you inside." And sure enough, the Thing robot pushes the plexiglass trap into the room. Dr. Doom says, "Look at you, the once mighty Fantastic Four, now helpless prisoners of Dr. Doom." And we see Johnny Storm and Sue Storm and the Thing all bound to the wall, and Mr. Fantastic trapped in the plexiglass box. The Thing says, "Don't you ever go to the movies, cornball? Every time a villain talks like that, the hero clobbers him in the next scene." Johnny says, "Some heroes we are, Ben. You can't pull that thing out of the wall because it's electrified, and I can't burn through this asbestos cord." Dr. Doom says, "Now that my robot has done his job, I no longer need him. One grotesque thing to look at is one too many. We need no more." And so Dr. Doom pushes a button, and boom! By simply touching a button on its electronic control panel, I reduced the robot to nothingness. The nothingness it was before my genius gave it form. Well, Dr. Doom certainly is not shy, is he? All right, Dr. Doom says, "Now it is time to give my other assistants their reward," in the typical Dr. Doom manner. He's talking about the terrible trio. I wonder what reward they will get. He says, "Each box contains $5,000. You have earned the money by your loyalty to me." Yogi says, "You are most generous, Sahib." So they grab the boxes, but as soon as they do, they disappear. Dr. Doom leans back and he says, "More generous than you think. Each box is a priceless dimensional transport machine capable of taking you to another dimension when opened, and there you will remain until your master has need for you again." Oh my, they've gone to another dimension and they're trapped there until Dr. Doom calls them back to do more dirty work. Meanwhile, in the room where the Fantastic Four are being held captive, each of them is trying to escape. The Thing realizes Sue's starting to wake up. The poor kid, she's in for a shock when she sees what's happened to us. Johnny says, "Ben, maybe she can help us with her new invisible force power. Doom doesn't know she has it. Hey, Sue, Sue, listen, Sue, Sue, wake up, wake up." What? Sue finally wakes up. Later, after Johnny has explained, "Look what the Invisible Girl can do with her new power. She presses her force field into Ben's cords and tears them apart. She says, 'That's it, Ben, pull. My force field will stop the current from electrocuting you.' Isn't that amazing? The Thing thinks so. What do you know? It worked." And Sue says, "If only I didn't always feel so weak after using my invisible force field." Well, it is a mental power, and so it tires her out. The Thing says, "Hey, String Bean, next time you try to convince us how useless we are without you, try to remember who got you out of this little glass fishbowl." And he breaks open the plexiglass box that's holding Mr. Fantastic. But at that moment, Dr. Doom returns, and he sees what's going on. And look, he's got a control panel ready. He says, "I prepared myself for just such an occurrence, as you can see." What's that device going to do? Whoomph! All right, so it attacks the thing, and he says, some crummy way to treat a guest. Dr. Doom says, that will keep the rampaging thing occupied long enough for me to attend to the rest of you. As for you, young lady, another bigger dose of sleeping gas will take care of you, perhaps permanently. And Sue says, I'm still too weak to use my force field. What can we do? Well, Mr. Fantastic is not weak, and now that the thing has broken him out of that plexiglass case, he reaches out his arm and he snatches the arm of Dr. Doom. He said, you've had it, Doom. Now it's our turn. And Doom drops the gun. And he spins Dr. Doom around. He says, don't just stand there, Sue. Help Johnny and Ben. I'm taking over now. Sue says, yes, sir, boss man. Thing says, one side, Blondie. When I need help, I'll ask for it. And I ain't asking. And so he crushes that column that's been pushing him up against the wall. Sue says, hurry, Ben. Once you're free, we've got to unshackle Johnny. Johnny says, that's nice. I thought everyone forgot about the glamour boy of the group. So Johnny's still tied up by that asbestos cord. But the thing says, Sonny, you're as glamorous as a soggy cornflake. Well, y'all know what soggy cornflakes look like. They're not very glamorous, are they? And he says, you're about half as strong as a cornflake. And of course, soggy cornflakes aren't strong either. Sue says, easy, Ben. Don't hurt him. So Ben takes the asbestos cord, rips it out of the wall, and the thing says, oh, Sue, I wouldn't hurt one teensy-weensy part of him. Here, look how nice and easy I'll take these tin bracelets off of him. Crunch! Oh, heavens to Betsy! Clumsy old me squeezed them too hard. I hope the noise didn't hurt Johnny's tender little ears. The thing is being sarcastic, isn't he? But now, Mr. Fantastic hollers out, Torch, come quick. I can't hold Doom much longer. Hurry. So Reed has wrapped him up in his arm, but Dr. Doom has set off some sort of refrigerating unit built into his metal gloves, and he's freezing my hand. And so we need someone with the power of fire. And here comes the Human Torch. He says, wow, he made a frozen cocoon. A frozen cocoon out of Reed's hand. And then he wriggled out of it. And so Reed and his arm were all iced up. And Dr. Doom is now free. Dr. Doom says, you'll get the same treatment, you blazing brat. All I need to do is touch this rope to freeze it. And then once it touches you, it'll be good riddance to the torch. And so Dr. Doom is using that frozen rope against the torch. But the thing says, yeah, what makes you think it's going to touch him, bub? And so the thing punches out Dr. Doom. And the torch says, thanks, Pard. I'll thaw Reed out now. Well, I would hope so. And so the Human Torch floats up in the air. He says, how's this, big buddy? Just a touch of gentle, diffused heat. Kind of like getting a sun lamp treatment at the barber shop. Mr. Fantastic says, Johnny, you're just what the doctor ordered. And so Johnny is able to melt the ice off of Mr. Fantastic without burning him. Mr. Fantastic says, some leader I'm turning out to be, if not for you three. Torch says, skip it, Reed. From where I sit, we all need each other. Sue says, Reed, darling, I was so worried. Oh, listen, what's that? That is the war cry of bashful Benjamin Grimm, sort of a cross between a nuclear explosion and the bellow of a lonely whale. E-ah! Bam! Thing says, smile, playmate, it's clobbering time. So he swings. He says, "Hey, I missed. But how? It ain't possible." Dr. Doom says, "Did you forget about my jet flying belt, you brainless clod?" Well, I forgot about it. And there he is. He's flying in the air. He says, "I can hover safely out of reach, but I can hit you as the mood strikes me. Ow! Poor thing." I doubt that Dr. Doom hurt him much, but it is kind of embarrassing. And the thing says, "This is nutty. How can one guy put up such a fight?" Torch says, "Because that one guy happens to be Dr. Doom, who claims he's smarter and more powerful than Reed himself." And Doom is powerful, isn't he? Look at him flying through the air, and he's even dodging Mr. Fantastic's arms. He says, "Ha, my flying belt is helping me to make fools of you all." Torch says, "Boy, that character thinks of everything. He even had a hole in the wall prepared for his escape if he needed one." And so look, Dr. Doom is escaping through a hole in the wall. But Dr. Doom is interested in far more than mere escape. In fact, the world's greatest super combo is now about to face one of the most unusual menaces you've ever seen. And so the fight is not even nearly over. He's on the other side of a metal wall, and he says, "So far, so good." And now, Mr. Fantastic did not suspect that I bought this warehouse because my research discovered it is in the path of a solar wave which sweeps the Earth every 24 hours. What is a solar wave? I guess we're about to find out. The Human Torch points at the floor and he says, "Reed, look, the floor is dissolving and you can see the outer space outside. What's happening?" Reed says, "I should have guessed." I don't know how he should have guessed. Even Reed is not that smart. But he says, "Doom put us directly in the path of a solar wave. He must have known it was about to pass this way." Well, Thing asks the question that's on all our minds. What in blue blazes is a solar wave? And so Reed stops to give a lecture. He says, "I first learned of the waves years ago when an abandoned weather station was caught in the path of one. So here's the weather station, and here's this solar wave." As the solar wave noiselessly brushed past the station, it was attracted by some ionic dust particles which had drifted down from the atmosphere. Within seconds, the entire roof was gone, transferred to outer space in some strange way. And now Doom must have coated this room with that same ionic dust powder. Sue says, "It's still Greek to me." Yeah, it's Greek to me too, and I know Greek. But we've got to get out of here. And she's using her invisible force field now. She says, "My invisible force field is getting stronger. I'm going to try something." So she's aiming her force field at the wall. "I know Doom is on the other side of the wall. I'm going to send my invisible energy beam right through like this." And look, Sue's on this side, but she's sending her invisible beam through the wall, and it's capturing Dr. Doom. He cannot escape. She says, "There, now he's trapped along with us. If we die, so does he." What will Dr. Doom do now? As far as that goes, the Torch says, "What do we do now? Space is closing in on us." Sue says, "There's no weak spot on the wall. I've mentally sounded every inch." Reed says, "It's coming closer, Doom. Not much time left. Remember, if we go, you do too." And so, what a strange sight. We see the Fantastic Four in this room, but beneath them, the solar wave is eating away the floor. And it looks like the Fantastic Four, along with Doctor Doom, will simply fall into the nothingness of outer space. So, Doctor Doom reaches back through his escape trap. He says, "Move aside. I've got to find the wires which caused the ionic dust to settle on this room. I don't want to die with you. The world must not lose such a magnificent brain like mine." Well, he is conceited, but at least he's going to save everybody. And so the Thing grabs his arm, says, "You say you want to come in and look for wires? Here, pal, I'll help you in." Reed says, "Ben, forget Doom. It's too late for him to do anything. The room is dissolving too fast." And the Thing says, "Yeah, well, if anyone gets tossed into space, Doc Doom is volunteering to go first. Aren't you, Doc?" And so he pushes Dr. Doom, and Doom falls off the floor out into outer space. He says, "Stay back. Keep away, you brainless gargoyle. No, no. Help!" And Dr. Doom falls helplessly into outer space. Reed Richards says, "We've only one slight chance. The solar waves might only be attracted to the room. Ionic dust is expensive. Doom couldn't have used much of it. Quick, let's put Sue through the escape trap in the wall and then follow fast." And so look, Reed pushes Sue through the door, and then the torch flies through. Mr. Fantastic stretches through, and the Thing is just kind of holding on for dear life. He says, "Look, there's only a few inches of room left. In another few seconds, Bluey." Reed says, "This is no time to admire the scenery, Ben. Move." And so they pull him through, and the Thing says, "You know, I always get sloppy sentimental when someone saves my life. You can stay the leader of the FF, buddy. I don't mind." Reed says, "Thanks, Ben. Your enthusiasm is a joy to behold." Later, after the solar wave has completely passed, Reed says, "Look, the room is gone. Nothing but some girders are left." Johnny says, "Well, we won't have to worry about getting a new leader for a while. Looks like you'll do fine, big fella." The Thing says, "If you ask me, we should have elected Doom." Well, the narrator says, "Don't shed too many tears for old Doc Doom." Stan and Jack, that's Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, who are the writer and artist for the Fantastic Four, says they're already trying to figure out a way to bring him back. And you know for a fact that it won't be long before we see Dr. Doom again. He's too great a villain, right? Well, Conrad and Lucy, can you guess who is the next opponent for the Fantastic Four? Who is the mightiest person in the Marvel Universe? I'll give you a hint. He's big and he's green. You're right, it's the Hulk. It's the next Marvel Super Spectacular. This is the big one. It's the fight between the Incredible Hulk and the Thing. This is one of the greatest stories of all time. And so y'all have been wondering, who's stronger, the Hulk or the Thing? Well, in this story, we'll find out. I'm eager to tell it to you, but I'm going to wait until next time. Love y'all very much. Bye bye now.